Welcome, Colorado State.
Hey there, CSU.
Good evening, Fort Collins.
Hey guys.
I'm your host, Jacky Wilson.
I'm Jacky Wilson.
Still Jacky Wilson. And this is Ram Rant.
Ram Rant.
Ram Rant.
Ram Rant.
And possibly the heart and soul of CTV. Hopefully there's some good news that comes out of this that are a little poetic and a little outlandish.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
We're gonna try something totally new.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Check it out. Hello, CSU in Fort Collins. I'm Jacky Wilson, and today we have a very special event for you. We're hosting our first Collegian debate. We have the Chief Justice of the Associated Students of CSU, Rioux Jordan, and Skyler Leonard of the Collegian to discuss recent legislation hitting the ASCSU. Bill 4411 seeks to reform the controversial topic of impeachment within ASCSU. Thank you guys both for joining us today.
Thank you.
To begin, I'd like to take a few minutes for both of you to introduce yourselves. Rioux, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Jacky. I'm Rioux Jordan. I'm the ASCSU Chief Justice. I'm also the author of this bill that we're talking about today.
Wonderful. And Skyler, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Skyler Leonard. I'm a columnist at the Collegian right now. Last year I was a news editor, and before that I was the ASCSU beat reporter.
Wonderful. Well, very nice to have both of you in the studio. All right, so let's begin with the very first question. Both of you will be given 3 minutes to answer, and then we'll allow for both of you to cross-examine. Our first question, does the revealed inadequacies of last year's impeachment process really call for a constitutional amendment? Or is there another route that the ASCSU can take to solve the issues? Why or why not? Rioux, again, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Jacky. Answer, yes, this does take a constitutional amendment. Why? Well, there's a few answers to that. First off, one of the revealed inadequacies from last year was that we had trouble finding what the impeachment procedures were, how to do it, and that situation. This version of the bill, this reformation for the impeachment, directly states in the Constitution, the #1 governing document, that you have impeachment procedures, you know where to find them, you know what to do. Second, we have in the previous version, Article 600, it was just a set of lists of different ways that you could impeach different people. The new bill calls for replacing it with one section that gives out basic guidelines for impeaching every single ASCSU official. On top of that, it fixes a problem. It said it required 10% of members of ASCSU. For those not involved, we had a member of ASCSU is anyone taking 1 credit. Previously, it said 10%. That's nearly 3,000 people to impeach. Now, about 300 people, general students, can start an impeachment process if they don't like the way their government's being handled.
Very interesting. All right, and Skyler, how about you?
Okay, so I agree that to have a constitutional amendment to help with the confusion that happened during last semester, that's a good thing. Where I take issue is the Act of Sunshine laws. Given the fact that within the current process in the amendment that ASCSU would implement, we would not be able as a media group to cover an executive session. Now this is important given the fact that an executive session means that it's closed doors. The media can't see what the reasons are for why a person is impeached. And to make sure that our government, our student government, has checks and balances, that is pivotal.
Great responses. Let's move on to our next question. Again, you'll each be given 3 minutes to answer. The question, will the proposed amendment fix the issues of transparency and trust between the student body and the ASCSU? What else can be done to help the ASCSU become more credible as a student government? Skyler, we'll start with you this round.
So I think what needs to happen is that ASCSU needs to emulate a legitimate government. Now last year, CSU officials decided to basically release to student media that ASCSU is not technically an official governing body. Even though on their website they do state that they are CSU's student government, when CSU officials state otherwise, it creates an issue of transparency and also a delegitimizing kind of effect. So what needs to change is that our student government needs to emulate the government that they should achieve to be. So that means that there needs to be transparency on issues of electing officials and then impeaching those officials.
All right, and Rioux, how about your response?
I actually would like to correct Skyler on a couple things. You had a few inaccuracies on your positions. First off, this version, I don't know if you've actually had a chance to read through the bill, the part that tells you where, who's open, who gets to see the evidence, that's open to the entire public now. All the evidence, all the presentation from the impeachment committee, even a statement from both the defendant and the plaintiff is all open to the public. The only thing that's in an executive session now is what's called the deliberations. So when the senators are talking about specific individuals, trying to decide, are we going to remove this person from office or not? You can't have that person in the room for that conversation for it to be open. Ironically, if we don't have it closed, we can't have an open conversation about whether or not this person's doing their job properly. As to the governing body versus government situation, this is a technicality that's a little confusing. Governing body means we have is an organization that has direct control over how something operates. So the LSC governing board controls how the LSC operates. But ASCSU is a student government, even though it is not a governing body, because we do not have the power to force students to do something, to impose regulation. Thus, governing body, saying we're not a governing body, is not the same thing as saying we're not a student government. Thus, we're legitimate and we're being transparent.
All right, well, we are just getting started, and when we come back from commercial break, we'll get to our questions in the rapid fire round, so stay tuned.
The Rants offers a traditional pub menu, 20 beers on tap, and even fresh-to-order pizza coming soon.
Stop by Sweet Sensations for a delicious bakery item, espresso, or any other coffee needs you may have.
Hi, welcome to Aspen Grill.
Aspen Grill is a student-operated restaurant located in the University Club. The food court features a number of different restaurants to satisfy your needs between classes.
Having one of those days where you need to just get out of your head and chill out? If that's the case, head to the Laurie Student Center and relax. One of the best spots to relax in the LSC is outside the food court on the plinth lawn. Don't forget to stop by the Ramhead Fountain. The Level 100 Commons is the perfect spot. Lounge by the flat screen TVs or enjoy one of the gaming chairs to escape the daily grind. You can always relax in the LSC.
Welcome back, CSU. We're continuing our first debate special with Rioux and Skyler. So let's jump right back in and start with our rapid fire questions. You'll have a minute to answer, and after you both have spoken, we'll allow for a response. Rioux, we'll start with you, and after Skyler answers, we'll allow you to respond. The question, does the following amendment solve the issue of whether or not the public may watch the impeachment proceeding?
As I just addressed, it does. Listed in Section 6, Rise and Report in the impeachment procedures, the 4-page document attached to the bill, it allows the public to view the evidence presentation by the impeachment committee, including the statement by the defendant and the plaintiff. That is the meat and potatoes of what the impeachment is, of whether or not this person's going to be removed. The public has all the evidence right there before them for them to make their own decisions, to decide if the rest of the senators are doing their job when they make their decision.
All right, and Skyler?
So to clarify, when they go into executive session, that still means that senators who are our representatives are having to discuss the issue at hand. And that's a meeting that should be open given the fact that we need to see what they're saying about this elected official. In no other governing body would you have an impeachment process happen behind closed doors in any way possible. If it was a person who was not elected, such as like a city manager, then it would be an issue, like a personnel issue. Yet, given the fact that this is dealing with students who are elected, having the senators be able to voice their opinions on why that senator should or should not be impeached is essential.
All right, and Rioux, would you like to respond?
Yes, I would. So, to the question of being able to see what your senators are saying, this is a difficult question because yes, we strive for openness and being public, but the problem is we want to be able to properly make a decision. And if everybody knows that they're going to be speaking in public and that their evidence will be aired and that more information than the impeachment committee decided was actually relevant might actually end up out there, we're not going to get as much evidence, and we might not be able to make as good a decision about whether or not to actually remove the official. So yes, again, if we don't have a closed session for discussion only, we can't make the best decision.
Let's move on to our last question before closing statements. Skyler, we'll start with you. Allow Rioux to respond, then you'll be given a minute to respond. The question, if you were to make any changes to the bill, what would they be and why?
I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point. I would prefer that there wouldn't be executive sessions. I feel that our student government should emulate what an actual government does. And I feel like by doing that, they can have better representation and they can prove to the student body that what they're doing is correct and that the students can see like what their senators believe.
All right, and Rioux, your response?
Changes, this is a government process. This is the third version of the bill we've gotten so far. I've been making changes all along the way. In fact, it's not passed yet. Come to Senate next Wednesday, voice your opinion, and we'll take it in consideration, maybe amend the bill.
All right, and Skyler, any closing remarks?
Yeah, I would just like to say that more people who can voice their opinion on this, the better. Given the fact that last year's election cycle for ASCSU, only 16% of the student populace voted, it's truly something essential to get your voice heard.
All right, well, to close our debate, we'd like to give you both the opportunity for closing statements. You'll each be given 2 minutes, and we'll start with you, Rioux.
As I think I've made fairly clear tonight, the bill does what it's supposed to do. It fixes the impeachment. It makes, I don't know if I actually mentioned this, I was the chair of the impeachment committee in the fall, so I was in the perfect position to see what went right and what didn't. Following the impeachment, I took that advice, I met with a group of people, brought this together, and we determined this would be the best way to handle impeachments in the future. So based on that, thank you for listening tonight, and come out to Senate. We'd love to get your opinions.
All right, and Skyler, your closing statements?
Yeah, so last fall during the impeachment process, I sat with other reporters when they decided to go into executive session, and it was a value that I hold dear to that we basically stayed in the room even though it was an executive session because we believed that whatever was going to be said in that room, we needed to know. And moving forward, I would just like to make sure that when Senate does go into an executive session, that what is discussed and what happens in that session can be open to the public in some shape or form.
Thank you both for participating in our first Collegian debate. We look forward to seeing you both succeed in the future, and thank you CSU for tuning in and watching. I'm Jacky Wilson. See ya.
The Rants offers a traditional pub menu, 20 beers on tap, and even fresh-to-order pizza coming soon.
Stop by Sweet Sensations for a delicious bakery item, espresso, or any other coffee needs you may have.
Hi, welcome to Aspen Grill.
Aspen Grill is a student-operated restaurant located in the University Club. The food court features a number of different restaurants to satisfy your needs between classes.
Having one of those days where you need to just get out of your head and chill out? If that's the case, head to the Leonard Student Center and relax. One of the best spots to relax in the LSC is outside the food court on the plinth lawn. Don't forget to stop by the Ramhead Fountain. The Level 100 Commons is the perfect spot. Lounge by the flat screen TVs or enjoy one of the gaming chairs to escape the daily grind. You can always relax in the LSC.
Welcome back, CSU. You just watched the premiere of our Collegian debate series, and we hope you enjoyed it. But now we're going to show you how to make toffee. We have our producer, Adrian Felix, here to show us. How, if I can talk right.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited. I love toffee.
I know, it's easily my favorite treat to make, and I get requests a lot of, making toffee. People don't realize how easy it is to make.
It looks difficult.
It's not, though. So let me just go ahead and take you through. So first thing is obviously the ingredients. So we're going to take 2 cups of butter, which is this whole thing. So help me get this in this pot.
So this is obviously a very light.
Yeah, it's like as far as the ingredients, it's so simple. So I think that's why it makes it such a popular treat. So we're gonna add 2 cups of butter.
Okay.
And obviously for the sake of on this show, we can't really like cook it, but obviously I have some pre-made for us.
Perfect.
But 2 cups of unsalted butter, and the trick is that it has to be unsalted because you're gonna be adding salt in later, and you just don't want too much salt in a toffee.
Yeah, and that way you can control it too if you're worried about like high sodium.
Yeah, absolutely. So then next is we have our sugar, and right now we have 2 cups. You wanna match the butter to sugar ratio, so 2 cups butter, 2 cups sugar.
Okay.
So
and I was wondering, you know, a lot of people are really into like stevia or sugar in the raw. Do you think it would work the same way?
You know what, I'm not actually quite sure, but I'm sure that if it has like the same like texture as sugar and if it like acts like sugar, then it should be fine.
Okay.
Okay, so then once we add our sugar, the next thing is a teaspoon of salt. So we have that right here.
And that's where the salt component comes in, obviously.
Yep.
So glad we use unsalted butter.
Yes. Boop, 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 boop. And that's like your main ingredients. Now the thing is you can either add water or rum or just leave the water altogether.
Ooh,
For the purpose of this, we won't be using water, but I recommend that we use rum in the future. It gives it like a really like nutty flavor.
When we're off campus, we'll throw some rum.
I know, when we can do that, we will. So that is that mixture. And now the important thing is you need a candy thermometer. This is like, I think like $5. So it's not super expensive. But essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna put this on medium heat. And I say medium heat because if you do it on high, you're gonna burn it. I learned the hard way. I burned my first 2 batches to like filth. I tried it and I was like, I ruined this.
Gosh, and that's just a mess to clean up out of the pots.
It ruined one of my pots. Like one of my pots is completely ruined because I burned it. So put this at a medium heat, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it cook to 300 degrees. Now on your little candy thermometer, there's something that says 300 degrees, hard candy. And essentially what that is going to do, it tells you what's going to happen to the consistency of it when it cools. So once you get it to 300 degrees, you're probably going to take you about 30 minutes to get there on medium heat. That's fine. You just have to stir to make sure nothing gets burned.
Okay.
And then you're going to pour it out onto wax paper, and it should come out something like this when it cools.
It's like a delectable Frisbee.
Yes, and then as you can see, it has the consistency of, you know, toffee. It's hard, and that's all because you heated it to 300 degrees.
Right, you were saying earlier that you can have the consistency of caramel, which is just, you don't want that,
and that's I think at 250 degrees, but as you keep getting warmer, the sugar is going to react differently, and so at 300 degrees, it's going to turn into this once it cools.
This beautiful, glassy, delicious, buttery goodness.
Yes, you are going to love it.
Okay.
So the next one, part I'm going to have you do, and that's coat this with chocolate.
Ooh. You're handing the reins over?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I hope
I've seen you do spread chocolate before, and so I know that it's something that you can actually legitimately do well.
All right,
so
all right.
We're just going to get this all over.
Ooh, okay. And so we obviously preheated this a little bit just because obviously you're going to
We don't have the tools as like a proper cooking show, but we're going to, you know,
do our best.
Absolutely, with what we have. So as you can see, she's just going to get it all over, spread it all around.
Is that butter box in the way? Can we see it?
Here, let me move that for you.
Perfect. Has to be gorgeous and perfect. And look at that, it's like shiny and pretty.
And exactly, and then after this, once you're done coating it, we're going to put on some almonds, and I'm going to show you a little trick to make sure that the almonds really stick.
Okay.
At the end of it, so get just a little bit more chocolate on there.
You can never go wrong with too much.
No, especially with this, the toffee and toffee and chocolate is like the perfect combination.
Oh my gosh, have you had the toffee nut at Starbucks? The toffee nut syrup is probably one of my favorites. You should try it, it's delicious.
I wonder if that's something I can just make.
You know what, you probably could because obviously you make bomb toffee.
I know.
There you go. And Adrian, what kind of chocolate did you use for this?
I think I used like some Kirkland, like just bag of chocolate. Yeah, semi-sweet.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where if you want finer chocolate, then use finer chocolate, you know?
Right, milk chocolate, dark chocolate,
anything
could work? Okay.
Yes. So obviously
good,
we've
good.
got that nice and spread, so we're gonna take our almonds
Okay.
and just sprinkle it on. Boop, boop,
Look how pretty. This looks high class.
It does. Just wait till we like actually eat it though. You're
I
gonna
just
be
can't
like,
believe how quick this goes.
see, exactly, and that's why I said people are like think it's so complicated, and it's actually one of the most easy like treats to make.
Yeah.
So that's why I like make it for like every holiday, every like thing, just because it's so easy. Like it's not a lot of effort. So once we get, I feel like we have a good coating. What you're gonna do is I just take a little sandwich bag,
Okay.
and to make sure that it sticks, because once the chocolate cools, the almonds can just fall off.
Okay.
So you just press it on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, make sure it gets in there really good.
I was actually wondering, because I saw on the pre-made toffee you had these cute little sprinklings on there, but this is just a happy little accident,
Yeah,
isn't
this
it?
is like just the mess that it makes just to make sure it sticks, but it still looks kind of pretty,
It
right?
looks very pretty. It's almost like sprinkled or dusted.
So, I mean, that's that. And then you have your toffee done there. And then
Amazing.
just put it in the fridge and let it cool. And when it cools,
Okay.
what you'll have.
And how long does that take? Because I mean, I'm pretty impatient.
If you put it in the fridge, it's going to take like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, this treat
Freezer,
is so
speed it up.
quick.
Yeah.
So quick and easy to make. So let's switch this
Wow.
out. So what I'm going to have you do is break this one up into pieces so that we can try it.
I was just showing everybody my Pilates muscle, so this is perfect to demonstrate this to the viewers at home. I'm joking.
So break it in half. Come on.
In
now.
half?
In half. Just
Okay. I don't know if I can do it directly in half. I'm just going to use this.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, after that, you see it like it breaks up pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then
Pretty much like flaking apart. That's perfect.
so here, watch. We're
Oh,
gonna
look at
we're gonna
those
take a
gorgeous
piece.
pieces.
So try
Oh my
that.
gosh. I'm so excited.
Did I not kick butt or what?
You kicked butt. You kicked butt for sure. This is amazing.
So I just thought that maybe during the time that we had left, because this is all it takes, is that maybe we could talk a little bit about hot topics.
Yes.
So you didn't see the Oscars happen.
I didn't. I actually missed it, but I've heard so much buzz about it that I need you to fill me in because I know you're all about this pop culture.
Oh, it was such a good show. Gaga destroyed it with her singing. That's why you have to watch it. Obviously, I think they want us to wrap up actually right now. So
All right. Well,
you have to watch Gaga's performance on CBS. So please watch that because she destroys it.
perfect. This took no time at all, but neither did this segment. So that does it for us. Thank you for watching Rams and Fort Collins. I'm Jacky Wilson, and we'll see you next week. This is awesome. Try it out.